Hi guys, welcome to Soul's Journey, and I have kind of an unboxing to do today, but it's a deck that's been out for a while that probably a lot of you have already got, and I was going to order this online sometime over the summer, and the website for Spirit Halloween wanted to charge me sales tax, and I live in Oregon and there's no sales tax, so I put it off. And finally I was over at the shopping center where the local Spirit Halloween store is, and it's finally open, and so I just ran over there to see if they had any of the decks, and they did. They had just a few copies of it. So yeah, this is the Spirit Halloween tarot cards. It's like, I asked the guy for the tarot cards and he didn't quite know what I meant. He says, oh, the cards, and just, I guess he doesn't really know what tarot is, but whatever. So it's still the same price. It's still $7.99 that it was in years before. And I don't know if I'm going to walk through the whole deck right now. It comes in this two-piece lift-off box. It's extremely anonymous. There is absolutely no booklet of any kind. There's nothing identifying who the artist is. Although Dee over at Divination and I had run across the deck on both Etsy and I think it was MakePlayingCards.com, and it was going for a whole lot more money. But we never did quite figure out which one of those sellers was the actual artist. Anyway, so here's the way it comes, and as you can see, it doesn't quite fit in the box, although putting the lid on it does keep it in place, and it doesn't seem to smush the cards or anything. It's just, it's, you know, not a bad little box, you know, for $8. The deck itself is clearly like that punch-out paper, like you know, you buy at Office Depot to make your own business cards. You can feel all the little nubbies here where it got punched out. The cardstock is, it's not bad. It's at least as good as Llewellyn's, if not better. And interestingly, I somehow ended up with two of the Five of Swords cards. I have absolutely no idea why. So I've got, oh, I kind of put the Fool in the wrong position here. So those of you who have seen this card and wondered about these weird numbers down at the bottom here, what this is it's called Gematria. It's an alphanumeric code. Let me read what Wikipedia says about it. Alphanumeric code of assigning a numerical value to a name, word, or phrase based on its letters. So every letter in the Hebrew alphabet has a numerical value assigned to it. And I'll put up a little graphic here to show that. Okay, so there are 22 letters, and the numbering starts at 1, and it goes through to 10, and then it switches to, it counts up by tens. So we go 1 through 10, then 20 through 100, then 100 through, well, ultimately they go through 900, but this deck only has, you know, 22 major arcana, so it stops at 400. Okay, so it starts with 1 on the Magician, associated with the letter Aleph. Then the High Priestess is 2, Bet. And of course, Aleph Bet is where we get our word alphabet. 3 is Gimel, which also means camel, I believe, which is why there's a camel on the card in the Thoth deck. 4 is Dalet. 5 is he. 6 is, I think it's pronounced vav or vav. 7 is zayin. 8 is het. 9 is tet. 10. Okay, so we're counting up. I'm starting with the 10s now. 10 is associated with the letter yud. Yud. 20 is kaf. 30 is lamed. Oops. 40 is mem. 50 is nun. 60 is samech. 70 is ayin. 80 is peh. 90 is sadi, or tsadi. You pronounce that very well. Then we switch to 100 is kuf. 200 is resh. 300 is shin. And 400 is taf. So this very much follows, put these back in order real quick, hang on. So I kind of screwed that up because I had the fool out of order there. And 300, as I said, is shin, associated with the fool. So the fool falls in between judgment and the world. And I believe this is Oswald Wirth's system. And if you noticed early on as I was going through, 8 is justice, and 11 is strength. So I can't remember if that's Golden Dawn specific, putting the Fool in like that, or one of their offshoots. Off the top of my head, I've forgotten, because I'm not an adherent of that. So mostly today, what I wanted to talk about was the Empress card, which is Kali. And a lot of people apparently don't get this card, why the artist, whoever they were, put Kali on as the Empress. In researching Kali, because I really didn't know too much about her before I started looking into this, I did know that she was known as Kali Ma, or Mother Kali. So it turns out that she is known as the Divine Mother, the Dark Mother, the Terrible Mother. She is the Hindu goddess of time, creation, preservation, and destruction. However, she is also considered the most compassionate goddess. She is the most powerful form of Shakti, or cosmic energy. Her name, Kali, is the feminine form of the word time, or fullness of time. So she is typically depicted either as blue, bright blue skin, or black, very dark black. And in most depictions, she wears a necklace of skulls. I believe it's 51 skulls. I couldn't quite verify that. I wasn't able to verify that. And generally along with that, a skirt made of severed arms or limbs. And what that is supposed to depict is that she is the liberator. She liberates humans from the ego and to not be too attached to the physical body, because death will come for us all. Now, she's depicted in this fierce form. I have a couple other depictions of her. This is from the Sacred Mothers and Goddesses by Claudia Olivos, which I think is out now from Blue Angel Publishing. So Claudia's got her with the necklace, the skull necklace, but she doesn't have her tongue out. She's normally depicted with the tongue out because she has gone into battle to defeat this demon, and every time this demon gets slashed and blood flies off it, it clones itself. And so while she's fighting this demon, she's lapping up all the blood to keep all these clones from coming to life, and she's trying to save the world from this demon. And then she's often depicted, and I'll put up a picture in the corner here, standing on the chest of her consort, Shiva. And one story that I read about this was that she was so enraged and carried away by her battle fever, and she was just rampaging. And the only way Shiva could think to stop her was to just lie down on the ground in front of her. And when she sees him and recognizes him, she kind of comes to her senses and stops. But, so she is known as a destroyer, but what she destroys is the ego and evil to grant liberation. She destroys attachments to the physical body. So in her right arm, I thought it was the left arm, or I think this might be backwards. I think she's typically depicted with a sword in her right arm and a severed head in the left. And she's either depicted with 4 or 10 arms. The head is just another symbol of her attempt to separate, destroy attachments to the physical body. The arms signify action, and all actions, which are karma, go to Kali Ma. And at death, all souls are supposed to merge with Kali Ma and be reborn. So she's either dressed in the skull necklace and the severed limbs skirt, or else nothing at all, naked, or Digambar, which means clad in space, or what we today, pagans, would call skyclad, because no finite clothing can clothe her infinite form. She's kind of like, I tend to think of her like, the mother bear protecting her children. Like she will, don't come between a mother bear and her children. She will destroy you. So she, like I said, she's typically either black or dark blue because she is limitless, all-pervading, and transcendent. So she carries a sword of knowledge, and yeah, I was wondering about the head, the severed head, but it doesn't signify, it's not supposed to represent anyone in particular. It's just liberation from the ego. She has a large cult following. She has her own holidays, and depending on which part of India you might find her, the stories vary from region to region, of course, and her titles can change. I do have one other kind of baffling depiction of her, only in that, and this is from the 78 Tarot Mythical. I don't know if you guys... So I got this a couple years ago. It's one of those collaborative decks. I'm sure you guys know. But in this one, I get the card out. So her face is blue and she's got the tongue out, but the rest of her body is white. So that's a little different. So there's a lot of... she's usually depicted as, very beautiful, if very fierce, but she is a much loved goddess, and I think she works very well as the Empress. So that's what I wanted to say about that, and I may actually dig into, let's see, just flip through this really quick if you haven't seen the rest of the cards. And Dee over at Divination, I'm going to link to her video about this because she did a really nice video that explained a lot of the other symbology in the cards and talking about all this. This one's kind of grisly, but yeah, whoever did this deck, and I really wish they would credit the artist because they clearly did a great deal of research or have a great deal of knowledge about all this mythology. It's really very well thought out, and it's a very, I think it's a very interesting deck. And I'm really looking forward to spending more time with it and digging into it. Yeah, I'll have to dig into that golem on the Six of Wands. Pumpkinhead. So those are all different gods in the quartz there. I think some of these cards have been made into like wall hangings as well. I think I saw them on Amazon and someplace else. Got Nessie, Pirate, all very water-themed critters here. Kraken. Release the Kraken! Page of Cups, we've got a Satyr. Queen of Cups is a Gorgon? That's interesting. I'll have to do some more research on that. Orc. Quetzalcoatl. It's a Mexican god. Or I shouldn't say Mexican. It's Aztec, I think. It's a very fun little deck. I think you have to just put a little thought into it. There's my second Five of Swords. I was worried that they had substituted a second Five of Swords and that I was going to be missing something else, but luckily I'm not. I have the whole deck. I'm just glad I bought it locally, so if I did have to return it, I could just run over. So the swords quartz are all very ferocious. We got Barbarian, we got the Amazon, we got a Viking. Definitely got some Lord of the Rings influence here. We had the Orc, we had the Legolas looking elf. There's the Two of Pentacles. We got a very Gimli looking dwarf here. Arachne. Anyway, since it's getting to be, you know, that time of year, this is kind of a fun little autumn sort of spooky Halloween sort of deck. Okay, he looks like he's out of that movie Leprechaun. You know, he's clearly creepy and evil. So anyway, I thought that was all very interesting on Kali Ma. And I have a great deal of love and respect for her now, I'll tell you. I'll put some links below if you want to do some more reading on her. Or you can obviously find your own. You can Google Kali Ma. So I don't know, I like this deck. I think it's very interesting. And the quality is really surprisingly good. I mean, for an $8 deck, I'm impressed. I've definitely seen worse. So, okay. We'll end it here and talk to you soon. Hope everybody's doing well. Take care and blessed be.